I was just laughing when I heard the Senate president said that he's traumatized, that the entire Senate, they are traumatized by the action and inaction of Senator Natasha. How could they laugh? I think we're not serious enough now. Traumatized over what? You guys are, well, I forget the issue of being traumatized or not traumatized. There's a lot of things that need to be cleared out. And in fact, what you guys are discussing at the floor of the Senate is inconsequential to the growth of Nigeria. But however, statement of fact has been put out according to Natasha, and that should be investigated. I do not know why the Senate president is telling Nigerians on Saturday that he was traumatized as well as the Senate. You are not in the heart of all the senators there. Some senators might just play to the gallery in order to satisfy you by doing what they did. Because after all, we did understand that the sitting of the ethics committee is supposed to be tomorrow, which is on the 11th of March. But somehow, already, they sat and they actually suspended Natasha. What we are trying to say here is, we are not saying that the Senate president is guilty as claimed by Natasha. According to her, she said she has video evidence to back up her claim. So if she's got that, shouldn't the Senate look into it? Or better still, the Nigerian court should look into it. The question Nigerians are asking is like, why the hurry to suspend Senator Natasha? And beside that, why 6 months? We understand that the Senate and the Senate president, they are two distinct things. So must be able to draw a line of dichotomy between the seat of the Senate president and the person of the Senate president. There are two different entities. Now, if she has a bottom anger against the person of the Senate president and not the seat of the Senate president, don't we think the time has come for us to lift the veil, to investigate and know what actually transpired between both of them? They were not enemies before now, but it should not have been 6 months suspension. Even 2 weeks is enough to reprimand an individual. It's just that person to learn from the error he or she has made. Giving her 6 months is just to say every other woman or any other person that challenges the Senate president must be punished just the way Senator Natasha is punished. Most Nigerians are of the opinion that this is an abuse of power. There should be a thorough investigation into what transpired that has given her the tenacity and the courage to be able to challenge the person and the seat of the Senate president. My question is, why is it that the Senate Ethics Committee, led by a man who allegedly his legal license was taken from him abroad because of unethical practices, is the one even heading Nigerian Ethics Committee? The same person is heading an ethics committee. Does that make sense? No wonder he was quick to say that the petition that was brought forth in the House of Senate against the Senate president is dead on arrival. That shows the mindset of the person of the Ethics Committee chairman. I do not know, allegedly, they said his certificate was taken from him abroad. Google it and see if I'm lying. If I'm lying, I will apologize. After all, I did not say it. They said in Google that his certificate was taken from him. God will help us in this country. Bottle anger can lead to a lot of things. So the Senate should be mature enough to be able to look at both sides of the coin before drawing a conclusion. Not just the seat of the Senate president, but the person of the Senate president. 6 months for an individual who have an authentication with the president, and the Senate president also spoke certain words at the floor of the Senate that day. Why is it that the Senate president also was not reprimanded by using such a word that I will suspend you, I will suspend you? Why? He has made the pronouncement, and what the Ethics Committee need to do is to ensure that the word that has come forth from the mouth of the president becomes fruition. That is why Senator Natasha was suspended. His line is, let's grow above emotion in this country. We are so emotional and sentimental in this country. That is why things aren't really working the way it should work.